Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Alex the Maniac here, and we are live. This is Broken Rose Entertainment. Many of you all know I'm going to be bringing a guest in a second. Many of you all know me from the past with Broken Rose Entertainment and with DWO Wrestling. We are entering an all new era with Broken Rose Entertainment, and I'm glad to have you all here. And if you're not watching live, I'm hoping you're catching this on a re-ear. Watch it anytime. Check out our site, brokenrose.com. That's over in the corner screen there. I'd like to introduce you all, if you haven't been following our videos and stuff on YouTube yet, I'd like to introduce you all to my partner in all this right now, helping me run the company. He's new over the last about year and a half now. We've been working together. We've been talking about our plans for this for a while now. And I'm really excited to bring him in. So we're going to bring him in now. Here we go. We've got Eddie Monster here joining us. Welcome.
Hey, it's good to be here on Broken Rose.
It is great. Hey, check out our ears.
I
We've
like
got
the
these new
blue.
headsets. Yeah, we've got. I don't know, have any idea what color mine is. It's doing what it wants to do. We've got these new headsets, but I like the audio that's coming out of them, so I'm happy with that. Anyways, we've got a lot to talk about and a half hour to do it in. Welcome on to this, and I hope that you're all checking us out on the chat. Join the chat if you want. I'm trying to see if I can get it running. This is all new. We're expecting there to be glitches. This is our first time running under this current setup. I've run live streams before, but never quite in this format. So this is new, but I'm enjoying how things are looking so far. What are you thinking?
Well, it's not bad looking.
It's not
I'm
bad,
just,
right? It's a start.
yeah, I'm just hoping YouTube and sees this and like all our followers see this.
So we've got a couple topics to hit. We are live. There are going to probably be glitches. I've got to get used to the camera being over here, and I'm looking up there because my big screen is up there that's showing me what's going on. But I've got a secondary screen over here. I'm adjusting things. I'm learning. And that's really a big tale of what Broken Rose Entertainment is doing at this point is learning new things. We've got a whole bunch of projects lined up, and I think that's what we really want to talk about first and foremost, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, we've been doing stuff like Enter the Insanity, of course, and you've been doing your toy wars. Um,
Yes, yes, yes. The toy was. We've
yeah.
got like one video shot of that so far, but we've got a bunch more still to shoot. Um, it's stop motion animation. It's geared towards an adult audience, and so you're helping voice on that as well. And we're looking for other people to voice probably in the future. But we're gonna start shooting some more longer form things. Boy, do they take a long time to shoot a stop motion, but it's fun. I've always been interested in stop motion ever since like the old what is it, the Rudolph and all those. Remember how those were all those stop motions back in the day,
Yeah, good childhood memories.
right? The Rankin Bass and all those productions, and I've always was interested in that kind of stuff. So I wanted to create my own, but give it the adult uh attitude.
You were doing a little bit of it. What's your plan for that?
So we had hit it up before, and we hadn't really done much with it other than like maybe a 30-second preview piece, and now we're you know, really starting to transition over and actually filming stuff. So I think it's going to be interesting to see where that goes when we actually put some full footage together. We've shot some stuff, me and you, individually on our own channels and together on the Broken Rose page of building some Lego stuff.
Yep.
And I think that's going to be the fun part is we're going to take some of those Lego builds and transform them into stop motion.
Yeah, basically, like some of the stuff, like in the background right there, like yep, that, and plenty more, but I just don't know where I'll have to put them in my room. I have to find space where I will be busy with music, of course, too. Doing that on my channel eventually once I set up my mic and all that stuff, and who
Right,
knows? I
we've
cover,
got new music equipment, and
and we will still get some more. We still need to get some more stuff and deal with that. We'll be doing podcasts. A lot of stuff and serious on my own channel. But let's talk about Broken Rose right now, though, because this is like a
yes,
collaboration.
absolutely. I mean, I think that's part of it too, is that we're looking to bring in other people into the Broken Rose Entertainment brand, having their own channels. We've got a couple channels out there right now. You got the Tough Truth, you've got your channel, my channel,
Yeah.
the Paranormal 7, where we're going to be doing some more paranormal investigations and stuff. We're really starting to push on that. Um, and what else do we got going on? We got a couple different pages really set up, and we're looking for more people to be involved in being content creators for Broken Rose Entertainment. That's in its own setting.
Yep. Um. Yeah, we need more people to help us out here. We need like all the talent that we can get. Dealing with 13 terrors, 13 horror.
13 Tales of Terror. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. So that's going to be our real first film project. It's going to be a bunch of short films, 13 short films, based off of I've got a book that I've kind of written through, and it's got 13 stories. A couple of the stories are different from the book because the book version is, some of it's not quite going to mash up for a low budget film projects. We don't got the budget to do some of the things, the effects that would be required to make some of those stories work. But the ones that we do have that will work, we've got a couple other side stories that are going to fill the places the other ones that don't. So,
Hmm.
you want to talk about those? Let's talk about the stories that we have there, and we're looking for people to cast for the different roles in these stories.
I know a few of them you've written, and then a few of them I'm writing into.
Right.
Uh, the first one, what is it? The Sirens Call. That's the one you wrote. What is it about?
So
Tell
we've
the viewers
yeah,
about that.
so we got a lighthouse keeper who's being he starts hearing sounds coming from the waves, um, and he's being seduced by the call of a siren, and she's out there, and the question is whether or not he can, keep from being drawn in by the seductive sounds of the siren singing.
Well, yeah, I mean, who knows? That people would have to see it until the end. Who's to
That's right.
say he falls into it, and then who's to say he doesn't? And then the next one, the whispering trees, and that talks about the haunted forest with a hiker trying to escape the grasp of the living trees, where they come to life and they try to grasp them or something.
That sounds really interesting. To where, you ever think about times like that when you're walking through the forest, especially when it's getting dark out, and you wonder what
Well,
could happen,
well,
what
see,
lurks out there.
yeah, nobody knows what happens within the forest, but darkness, and the only thing that you may have is like a little lamp or something, and who's to know how long that would be on? Darkness is always everywhere. You could get caught up with something. It was like the story of the Willow of the Wisp too, and sometimes people in, was it in Ireland or something?
Mhm.
Yeah, where they would try to walk through the woods, they would see like a small light and they would follow it into their dooms, either their dooms or their fate.
Right. And isn't there's a forest in I want to say it's Japan, right, where people go and commit suicide. Like this is an actual thing that's actually going on. They made a horror movie based off of that, right? But it's an
Yeah,
actual
I think
thing.
so.
So
I
I
think
think
so.
some of those vibes mixed into the story, I think would be really interesting as well. This is one of those stories that's replacing one of the stories that's in the actual book. So this one's not actually written yet. The first
Mm.
four stories actually are things that are being added to make up for things that are not going to work out of the actual book.
And then the next one talks about a sailor.
So the seller, yeah. So a family gets a new home. There's two stories in this book. Another one also about a new home. A couple stories with a new home. And this one, family finds that there's stuff going on. There's an evil secret going on in their basement. And how many times have you gone into the basement of a old creepy house and been a little skeeved about it. I mean, even in Home Alone, right? And wasn't there a thing in there where he was scared going into the basement with the heater and stuff, and just the weird noises you hear when you're not used to the atmosphere of a basement.
Well, it's not just the basement either. It's sometimes in the attic too,
The
where
attic too, yeah.
yeah, if you have like one of those old houses where you have to pull the stairs down, and you're
Oh,
walking up
that
the
had.
crinky, scary steps.
Mm.
Next thing you know, you see like a whole attic full of old, useless junk and stuff.
Yeah, I'm interested, and that could almost be bookends. We got the seller in this one, and we already know that 13 Tales of Terror we're planning on making a sequel to, even though we haven't even got the first one out. But we've got 13 more Tales of Terror that we're going to look for local um, story writers to actually take part in the next one, and we're going to take writers to add their own stories. We're gonna pick out the best 13 and mix them all together. But that could be, and the attic could be a bookend, from Stellar in this one to the attic in the next one.
But I know when you first told me about Broken Rose and how you first had it up and running, you had so many people, and
Oh,
then
we did.
yeah, and you were so upset that you had to restart the whole entire thing process.
Absolutely, because we
So
had
that
we had a
yeah,
lot of people interested, a
and
lot of
you
actors.
found yeah. You found me, and you were like, he might be a good talent. I wonder if
Right,
I
right.
could ask him to join. And I kind of agreed, right? A little bit. Uh,
Absolutely.
Look at us now. A year by, and here we are.
Absolutely. I mean, I think, and we really started putting it together. The big plans of where we're at now about a year ago, and when we started getting on YouTube and starting to put little personal videos out, and funny little videos of us skits in like Walmart and stuff. But I mean, really, that's just a taste of what's to come. I mean, we haven't really put out anything that's like really production wise. And that's what we're looking to do now, is we're finally ready to hit that note and start going into the production type stuff, and that's where I think our real content's going to come from. And I'm really going to enjoy having you on board, as well as we've already got a couple people that have written. You go to brokenrose.com, you can sign up for our mailing list, and if you write us at staff@brokenrose.com, you can let us know if you're interested in being a part of the projects, whether it's acting or camera crew or editing crew or whatever your specialty is. Let us know, because we're
Or
looking,
just
and
being
we're looking for
creative and
locations.
writing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's why you brought me in too, because you saw like talent, yeah, as a creative person here.
Absolutely. Don't forget, we do have the chat thing over there. I don't know how exactly well this thing's working yet. And we'll probably get some people that view after the fact. This is our first time, and we really didn't get to give a whole lot of warning ahead of time, and we're kind of
Yeah,
still learning
well,
this as we go.
yeah, it's a slow process. Everyone starts out here and there, and it takes a while. But we're gonna be having like lots of funny skits and stuff
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
that. I mean, if you guys haven't seen all the shorts,
Yeah,
which I know you,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, you guys already have seen that, but uh, we do definitely need a lot of people joining, especially if you're really good at acting. He's agreed to, and I agreed to help him out with auditions. I
Yep.
will be with him and seeing whether or not,
And we wanna
where to
start
put
doing
you in.
auditions
Yeah,
very soon. Like, within the
yeah,
next month, we wanna start doing auditions for these 13 Tales of Terror, and let's get back to that. So I just talked about The Cellar, and,
yeah,
what else we
yeah.
got? So
We do have the rift, that talks about scientists opening a rift that releases things that are unknown to the world, and that shouldn't even be
mm,
unknown to the world. That shouldn't even belong to the world,
hmm.
like
Yeah,
stuff like
that's the
that,
thing,
like creatures
science,
unknown.
yeah, science and the way that we manipulate things and mess with things, it's sometimes a question of how much is for the good of the world and what are we risking? I mean, look at the atomic bomb, was, made out of scientists' good efforts with no idea of where they were actually going to go, and look at what it turned into. I mean, and sometimes good ideas turn into horrible, horrible things, and I think that falls off of that as well.
And not to mention about Area 51.
Oh
We are
my
know
God,
there's
right?
about that Area 51. Who knows what they're hiding? But we all know they're hiding stuff. UFOs, aliens, zombies, vampires.
Vampires.
But who's to
So
say
Hell's
we.
Yeah, Hell's Conductor, next one up on the list of the 13, that's number 5, is a group of individuals wake up. They're on a boxcar on a train. Click, clink, click, clink. You hear the tracks thudding along underneath, and then they realize,
Yeah,
they're trying to remember where they're at, and then they realize, as they start to piece it together, that they've passed away, and they're not heading up a nice stairway. They're not heading up a stairway. They're heading somewhere else.
down. Well, that's the name, Hell's Conductor.
Yes,
But
yes. Who's the conductor of the train? That's the
yeah, who's
interesting
the
little twist on the
conductor?
story. So this one's an interesting one because it's basically all going to be shot in like a one location. So you're getting that boxcar feel, and you've
Mm,
got a very small cast. I mean, I think there's 5 players involved. So there's a older snobby lady, older snobby dude, uh, um, a kind of strung out chick, and a biker, and then I'll just leave it at that. There's one other person, and that's the mystery that I think we'll leave for the viewers to catch when they actually catch it. But for those that want to know about the casting and stuff, we'll give that information over on brokenrose.com. That one's going to be interesting. So we are now into the ones that are actually written. They're part of the actual book.
like Diary of Despair talks about a girl who's found nothing but pain in her life, which I can kind of relate to her feeling um like that. And when she is given an opportunity with a diary, with the power to make anything happen just by writing it in there, make anything vanish within it, that's gonna be interesting.
Absolutely. So the oath. This one's intrigued me. It's a play on something that I've seen before, but changed up a bit. So when a promise to spend forever with a lover comes back to haunt you, I mean, sometimes you make these oaths, and you're not really thinking of what it's going to have in the long term. But if you promise to spend forever together, and then somebody, I don't know, drowns, it could be
Is it
interesting
really
where that goes.
drowning, or did somebody actually drown her? You
Mm,
know, who's to
yeah,
say?
something worth. Yeah.
And thus, we need to remember the oath and the vow that you take when during wedding days too, until
Oh,
death
yeah.
do us part. You know, to promise to hold, to keep, and to love, all that stuff. But nowadays, people don't keep that promise. It's kind of sad because that's the divorce.
Mm, yeah. I mean, right. So the next story up, how about that one? This one's
It has,
interesting to you
yeah, it has,
specifically.
yeah. This one, I definitely got in the idea of, due to the fact that Wiccan uh pagan on it. It talks about it's called a family reunion. Uh, I don't remember how I started it, but I just woke up somehow in the middle. Yeah, I was streaming it, and next thing you know, I was starting to write that. It talks about a son who's sent out, and he wanders to find a love, a girl, and to bring her back to his mother, who is actually a witch. But
Mm.
by the time he comes back, well, let's just say things become different. And there talks about then how he has to deal with that pain of losing
Mhm.
his mother, and of course his two young siblings, and two sisters, and but because of that new girl, apparently, she tells him, I guess, "N- do what's right. You know, your mother would want you to move on." And he gets a visit from her, though, stating, well, if you guys were to eventually watch it, you read about it, you'll know. I don't know.
What I
It's
found
hard to it's hard
what
to
I found
explain.
interesting about this story is it takes that nice little twist to where um it's not the witch isn't the bad people. And that I found
See,
very interesting, and I like that.
it's the stereotype, like, oh, all witches are bad. You all see a Wizard of Oz,
Yeah,
Linda the Good
well, yeah,
Witch.
Glenda's a good witch, yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
not all
it's not
witches are
all bad.
bad, and yeah. All right, what's next?
Alright, so
Talking
that
about a
dead
dead
snowman.
snowman.
Yeah, dead snowman. This one's interesting. So it's another one of those, small cast type things. We can do this with very few people. Most of it is a mother and her son, and then there is a snowstorm, and they're trapped in their house. They're in a kind of a you know distant type New England area, in the winter, and
Yeah.
they get
Oh,
snowed in.
that's
They
New
can't
England for
really,
you.
yeah, they can't get out, and strange stuff starts to happen. He's out building a fort, the boy, and then suddenly there's snowmen, and he didn't build the snowmen. And they gradually get a little closer to the house, and stuff's happening. And it turns out that the former owner of the house killed his family and put their bodies into snowmen form. And the snowmen, whether or not they're good or bad, you'll have to wait and see. But so you've got basically, a couple snow characters and the mother and the son. The father's away, but he's in web view, cam footage with his family, calling home from his work trip and trying to get home to them. Um, and then there's the former resident and his family. So it's really about another 5 to 6 people cast tops at small, and it's gonna mostly all be filmed on location at. We've got to find a house that's fitting of this, and this one's going to be shot at the right time of year. So this is definitely a winter one. Um, so and it would
Yep.
be interesting to have an actual family that play the roles of the family, because I think that could be really cool. So if you
Yeah.
want something fun to do as a family, maybe put this together just with yourselves, and some of these projects, we might not do the whole filming ourselves. We might actually let other people create the films and send them to us to be part of the whole short film collection. Next one's on to you, number 10. We're almost to the end of these, and then we'll talk about some of the other projects Broken Rose
Uh,
Entertainment has going on.
Now they say that sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt. But I guess these ones do, like saying words are weapons, talking about a power of the pen, which
Mm.
pens can be strong at writing, thus poetry. But this pen, it seems, whenever you write something, it comes to life, and it opens a door to a world that secretly lives behind. uh, our own.
Mm,
So
that's very
yeah,
interesting. Yeah, so
basically anything you write comes to life. It's a
yeah,
magic pen.
that's right. And the interesting thing with this story is it tells about um that there's guardians that keep, you know, the creatures that are on the other side, the other realm that is just right on the thin layer, just out of our natural view, but they're there and they're interacting in our lives, and there are people that can see them and interact with them, and these writing skills, let's just say, have a little bit of magic and power to them and can connect these realms.
Hmm, that is
So
very interesting. The next one,
yeah. Yeah, The Creature of the Dark. This one's gonna be a found footage film. Short. It's gonna be, so like Blair Witch and those type of films. So a new owner of a new property finds he's some woods and stuff behind his house, and at first there's some strange marks on the ground. His dog goes missing, and he sets up some tripods and whatnot in the back to try and see what's going on. The camera disappears. There's tracks where the camera was dragged, and he finds a door, like those old cellar doors, or like the where you would go if there was a tornado or something, right? So you open
mm,
one of those. They open it up. They break into it. He gets a friend with him, and they go down to investigate. They got some cameras. They go down and they find an area where there's some water, and it's like these tunnels, like almost like sewer tunnels, and they start hearing some sounds, and then they run, and these sounds are just getting ever louder and closer behind them, following them, and it's the question of whether or not they can avoid what creature lurks in the dock.
that's very interesting. Next one being close to creatures of dark. It's nocturnal. It's a group that goes outside, and this time though, and I guess they're looking for an urban legendary creature and seeing whether or not it's real or not, because I
Hmm.
guess some of them believe it's not true, in which I understand. Some people, believe don't believe in stuff until they actually
Mm,
see it. They need proof or evidence themselves, and I guess they find that it's real,
it's
or is
real.
it?
It's like going out looking for the Jersey Devil, and you find that it's there.
Oh my gosh, that
You
is,
know.
yeah, or Mothman.
Mothman. I would love to do. There was a movie about that. I would love to do some filming of things like that. And we definitely want to with Broken Rose Entertainment. Our other projects involve uh, the Paranormal Seven. That's a side brand. They
Yeah,
have their own page.
this is basically talking a lot of paranormal stuff, in
Right.
which
If you
the Paranormal 7 talks about, stuff like that.
That's
All
right.
right.
If you look on the screen right there, the YouTube, if you go to at the Paranormal 7 RI, you can find out more about that. We do actual investigations of local haunts, and we're looking for any ideas of where you'd like us to take a check out on that as well. So,
There
last
is one
story in
more,
this.
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The Graveyard Ghost, The Final Haunting. Now, the fun thing about this one, a little fun trivia fact is, back when I was in elementary school and I started writing, I wrote a story called The Graveyard Ghost. And through the years, like every year, I would write uh, a little short story of The Graveyard Ghost. This is when my first enjoyment of writing really first being found, and I loved horror from an early age. And actually, I want to say I was in sixth grade, and I wrote what was the last Graveyard Ghost story, and I was asked to read it for the kids in an earlier, 3 years earlier by my teacher who had, my teacher had communicated that I was still writing these stories. So as these kids were about to start their very first story project, they wanted me to read it to them. So that was a cool little thing. And I wanted to, do an all grown up version of the Graveyard Ghost to end this book. So
Mm.
you got and I it's kind of influenced by the real life story of if you follow our paranormal page, there's the story about Nellie Vaughn's graveyard that you can't be there more than 10 minutes or something will happen. So this is like a twist on that. What happens after they try to stay for 10 minutes at a haunted location that you're not supposed to be able to stay more than 10 minutes.
Speaking of which, we both went to a place like that. If you guys check the Paranormal 7 channel on YouTube, we did go somewhere where it was like late at basically where what was it, 6 o'clock p.m.
Yeah,
where the sun was setting, and we went to the graveyard of what's her name?
Nellie
Ne-
Vaughn's. So that's Nellie
yeah,
Vaughan. Yeah,
Nelvon.
that's in West Greenwich, Rhode Island.
Yeah, you talked about how if you went to the end of the graveyard,
Hmm.
you would eventually hear a Victorian woman
Oh yeah,
or
there's
feel
all
her
kind of
passing
stories about that. Yeah.
by. Um, And you already know that as soon as I we got there, even before entering through the entrance of it, I felt a strange
There's
negativity.
such
So
feelings there.
much negativity out of it. And then I just took one little step and I could feel it like overloading. I could sense so much anger and hatred
Mm.
towards something. I just didn't know what, but
Well, the interesting thing is that she was supposedly buried alive, and we'll talk more about that on the paranormal page. Um, so we do got some other films projects planned up. The Artifact, which is a 4-book series, we're looking to turn into either 4 distinctive films or maybe a series, like a web series type thing. We haven't really decided how we want to roll that out.
mm,
Um, then we got the 3-book series of. Did I lose you?
the tormentor,
There we go.
which is
Tell them
basic.
about that.
It's basically like if you guys seen the movie Saw, it talks about a guy who captures all those that have done wrong and
Mm,
will not repent or something like that. They haven't learned their lesson.
mhm,
You know, they're given a second chance and they mess it up. He
mhm.
takes them and then tortures them. It's
Watches them.
basically like the Saw,
Yeah.
like the
Eh,
the, the movie
eh,
Saw.
right, and he a lot of his tormenting plays on to what they were doing wrong in their lives and punishes him accordingly for wrong or right, whether you agree with his decisions. That's kind of the message of it. On the Run, the last of the ones that we already have. That's we've got 2 stories. One is written, so they're probably going to be 2 different films. And it's basically exactly what it sounds like. A guy's on the run. He gets picked up. He's hitchhiking. Gets picked up by a girl, and they end up on the run from this group that has they were doing some experiments on him, and now they're trying to find the secrets of why and try and get ahead of this all. So those are the
Mm.
film projects we've got really lined up, and we're looking for people to do some acting in those, some people to help on the crew side of that. We need some locations. What else does Broken Rose Entertainment have coming up?
Well, we have done a lot of food reviews, of course. And speaking of food, I have this kind of food right here. Excuse me, when I was kind of crunching. If you guys like a lot of spicy food, this one is something you would definitely love to have.
And this is not a paid advertisement either. These.
No, this is not a paid advertisement. Genuinely serious. You guys should literally try this. This is actually really great. If you guys know the regular Cool Ranch, right? But this is flaming hot.
I'm
It
not a hot
is.
person, but all yours.
Well, this is like fiery hot. I don't think you would be able to handle it, maniac man.
You know.
See I've noticed that there's a difference between you and me. Is that I'm more of the spicy kind of guy.
Yeah,
You're
you're
more
spicy.
into like you're more into
Sweet.
like sweets.
Yeah.
In which I'm not really into sweets. You see, it's like opposite. You're more
Mm.
like in the heat. I'm more
Mhm.
with the cool, wind, the fan. It's like I don't know. It's like opposites attract like a magnet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm attracted to that thought. And by the way, I said it in the chat a little while ago, and I thanked and somebody else mentioned in the fact that we've reached over 1,000 views, and I mean subscribers, and I want to point this out as I'm looking at it right now. We have reached 1.16 thousand subscribers. 1.16 thousand subscribers.
Close to where my channel is.
Yeah, and it's
That's
only
great.
growing.
Yeah.
Um, so please, if you haven't subscribed already and you're watching this video, you've stumbled across it, or if you've caught one of our links on one of our pages, hit the subscribe, hit the like, show some support, and if you've got a local business, we'd love to also talk to you and support you. That goes along with the food reviews that we were just talking about. We are going to do more reviews. We want to go out and see some local businesses. If you have a place that you'd like to see us give a review to, let us know.
There is one more thing that we need to talk about.
What's that?
Merch. Merch
Merchandise. What do you guys want to
merchandise
see?
ideas.
What do you
Yeah.
guys want to? What would you like to buy? What kind of T-shirt would you like of the Maniac, or Eddie
T-shirt.
Monster, or Broken Rose Entertainment, or the Paranormal Seven? What are you interested in, people? Let us know.
Well, yeah, t-shirts, hoodies, cups.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got some ideas. Um,
Well, you guys are you already seen like what if you've watched some of my videos like at the
Businesses.
very end.
If you'd like to sell some of our movies when they come out. Yep, your little Eddie Monster character. Yeah, absolutely. But if you got a local business and you'd like to help us, we're looking for sponsors. We're looking for places to sell the stuff as we release it. Um, let us know. How can we work together? We'd love to promote other businesses and cross promote. How can we help? How can you help us? We're looking for sponsorship. We need some money to get some of these projects going. There's some other big projects that I'm not going to mention, but you know what it is. The other really big project that you're working, you're spearheading, that I can't talk about. Um, you know what I'm talking about. And so we'll talk to you if you're a local business and you want to know how you can get some advertisement in. We've got some ways to do it. Write us and let's talk. Again, that's staff@brokenrose.com. Email us there and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. Check out our website at brokenrose.com. Let me just throw that up there on the screen for you in case it's BROKINROSE.com.
And you guys can always check our personal YouTube channels separately.
That's right.
Mine being youtube.com
You
at
go ahead
the
and,
Eddie
yep,
Monster 26.
that's right.
That's
Search
me
that
right
up.
there.
That's
Yeah,
right.
like, subscribe, comment, and all that stuff.
Then you can look for me on YouTube at DWO Maniac. Definitely check me out. Like, subscribe, both of us. We've got our individual content. Eddie's going to do some music and stuff. Of course, Broken Rose Entertainment. Check that out. That's the big thing. That's where you're watching this live video right now, whether it's live or whether you're watching the pre-recorded and catching up on what you missed. And then, of course, there's the Paranormal 7. Go ahead and check that out on YouTube as well. That's especially if you like real horror based stuff about haunted. There's so much stuff in New England. I mean, it's such an old area. We've got so many places we're going to look into over the next year. Um, we'd love to have you following along as well. Subscribe to all those pages. Like, go
And
ahead.
if you ever do, if you are ever curious at it, please don't hesitate to basically contact me, and I'll let Maniac know. I'll contact him and say, hey, this
Mhm.
person wants to join. Whether it's the Paranormal 7, Broken Rose, we just need people to help us. We're interested.
That's
So
right.
that's that's it. That's all I can say for now. It was good joining in and being a guest here. I hope we can eventually do again and have maybe some more guests.
Absolutely. We can That's the other thing about this live thing. We can have more guests on. We found out how to do it. We're going to experiment with this as we go, but we can have multiple people on at the same time. It's going to be fun to try these things out. If you want to see, let us know what you want our next live episode to be about. I'm not sure how often we're going to do live episodes, but we're going to do them every so often. I think this went fairly well. What do you think?
I
I really
yeah,
do.
I think it went well too. I mean, there will be some serious talks about stuff that we want to do as well, like on our own personal pages. For me, it's mostly about mental health. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think that I've got some talk about mental health that I want to do on my personal page. So definitely want you all to be, following me there. I've got some talk about bipolar and stuff that I haven't really talked about, and I'd like to talk about that some. I'm going to be doing some music stuff as well. And I've got my own silly little skits, and we're going to have some cooking with Maniac and craziness like that.
All right, it was a pleasure joining yeah on this live channel. And peace out, y'all. The Eddie Monster is out.
All right, take it easy, Eddie. Thanks for coming in. So, this is Alex the Maniac, and it's my turn now to sign out and say thank you all for joining us. Definitely check us out next time. We're going to have a whole lot more crazy fun. Um, and just again, thank you so much, everybody who has made this all possible to get us to the point that we're at. We're over 1,000 subscribers and continuing to grow. We've got tons of views. I mean, I can't, even explain how great this has all been to bring this back up from the ground up, and we were somewhere big before. If you know, I was running DWO in the past, and that was a huge adventure. And this is something new for me, doing it this way, and it's a new venture. But I'm really excited about where things are going, and I hope that you join us and follow us in this. So, with that, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll hopefully see you next time here at Broken Rose Entertainment.